Hi teacher, my name is Juan Pablo and this is my presentation about sociolinguistics. So, what to know about sociolinguistics? That one of the principal uses of language is communicating, meaning. But it is also used not only for that, but also to establish and maintain social relationships. So, the key concepts that we are going to take into account is how to define the studies of sociolinguistics, what it means to know a language, how languages varies across speakers in within speech, and the relationship that exists in language and culture. So, sociolinguistics. When we talk about sociolinguistics, we talk about the study of our everyday life. So, cultural norms, how the conversation that we are involved in, how language works in those, the expectations, the context, the attitudes, the behaviors that we performed when we are interacting with someone, the and also the effects and the influence that these have for teaching and learning processes. So the form also, how we make ideas, this is how sociolinguistics works in. So when we talk, for example, about the second concept, that is known knowledge of language, when we communicate, we use a system of codes. So each person have a specific system of codes. So depending of the accent, the dialect, the geographic location, yes, and sociolinguistics provide descriptive grammar languages. And the knowledge that a speaker have of the languages is quite abstract. Yes, because it varies a lot. For example, when we use less or fewer, yes, less should be used with non-count nouns, but also, for example, such water, rice, or money. But fewer is used with countable nouns, so such a drop of water, grains, or rice. But sometimes we can use the same word with non-count or countable. There is no problem with that, and the variation you are permitted has limits in that case. So the language that we use everyday living is remarkable. Yes, this is a variation across speakers. And also you cannot pronounce, for example, words in any way you please. Yes, inflect or non-inflect words such as nouns or verbs. Yes, or make drastic alterations in word order to sentence as the mood it suits you. Okay, and now language and culture. So, according to Gordonov, a society culture consists of whatever it is one has to do, know, or believe in order to operate in a manner acceptable to its members and to do so in any role that they accept for any of themselves. So, when we talk about the relation between language and culture, we have to take into account the identities, the know how the person must process to get through the task of daily living, and also the social structure that influence or determine linguistic structure or behaviors when we are in a conversation with someone. For example, the conversation between children and adults are not going to be the same. Yes, so we could, in that case, the social organization of age groups influences the language used in these groups. Also, we have to take into account religion, gender, and ethnic origin to develop these studies. And some of the principles that we take into account when talk about sociolinguistics are changes within the language can be attributed to socially relevant forces and facts, according to Expolsky. According to that, what Spokey said, they can be attributed to various factors, for example, migration, economic or technological changes, military conflicts, politics, and so forth. So, to some degree, these factors can influence a lot in which individual can use a language. Therefore, the language itself shouldn't be studied separately for culture or society. Because of that, psychological or structural aspects of linguistics shouldn't be overlooked because they are useful for understanding the particularities of using the language. So social cultural interpretations of linguistic can also be useful in many cases. Social linguistics assume a dynamic and reciprocal relationship between language and society, so they can use the language at the same time to reflect the chase of society. So, in that case, One example that I have here is that assumption that language reflects society. For example, when you say your honor reflects the hierarchical authority structure in car rooms. Yeah, so depending on the context, we can see that the language is used differently, and also the use of language can be a source of information, not only about an individual, but also related to the notion of class, according to Stockwell. And that is all, teacher. Thank you so much. This is the bibliography that I used. Thank you so much.